everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from snowy white Christmas Salt Lake City,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
You are excited. And I am Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to talk about an LGBTQ ally who's coming to town, and it's causing quite the stir.
We're an ally who is joining forces with a dark hate group.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
Or maybe it's not as nefarious as all that.
It's
we'll
just
discuss.
The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. She's going to be singing with them.
Yeah.
That doesn't really roll off the tongue like the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Nope.
But that's what they call themselves now.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to.
Thanks
Anyway,
to Rusty Nelson. Well, but, you know, they won't respond. If you say, hey, MoTab, they don't respond. So
we'll talk about all that later.
But first, I've got the story, Dan, of a whole substitute teaching gig gone wrong.
Oh, dear.
Oh, golly.
Oh, no.
Well, at least it went really sorely wrong for the group of first grade children in New Jersey who had the misfortune of having an unnamed substitute teacher. They're protecting the substitute teacher from herself, the school district is. Because I don't know how it came up, but she decided that she was going to tell these kids that Santa Claus isn't real. She took it upon herself. She knows that she's there to teach and to speak truth to these children.
Yeah.
And she got up there. This is from a posting from an angry parent. She says... the teacher told the students Santa isn't real, and parents, quote, just buy presents and put them under their tree. She also said that reindeer can't fly, and elves are not real, and that the elf on the shelf is just a pretend doll that your parents move around.
I love it.
Okay.
I love this teacher.
She
Wait,
she didn't stop at Christmas,
What
though.
grade are they?
First.
Yeah, that might be... She might have given somebody PTSD.
Yeah.
In first grade, you can't just pop it on them like that.
Yeah. She also decided that, she wasn't just going to ruin Christmas.
Oh, my.
She would also ruin the Tooth Fairy. She's informed them that their mom or dad just sneaks into their room in the middle of the night and puts money under your pillow.
Right.
And same goes for the Easter Bunny. She told them, magic does not exist. There is no such thing as magic anything.
I love her. I love her, but I got to ask you, imagine how bad her day was going. She has had a week. I'm not even talking about the aftermath. I'm talking about the shit that led up to her.
This was
grumpily going, you know what? Fuck it. There's nothing. It's all fake. You don't know anything. You stupid little shits. There's no Santa. There's no Easter Bunny. There's no truth. But you know what? Jesus isn't real either. Fuck you.
I know.
I love it.
It's amazing. So the principal...
Should we have warned people before we... No, there's no first graders listening to our show. And if they are, sorry, kids.
I hope you... Yeah.
Don't listen to us.
Anybody who lets their first grader listen to this show had better brace themselves for more than just us ruining Christmas.
Yeah. Totally.
Anyway, the principal... Michael Raj said that once he became aware of the situation, he immediately spoke to the substitute teacher about her, quote, poor judgment. He sent a letter out to all the parents of the affected children. He says, I am sending this letter so that you are aware of the situation, and if the conversation comes up at home over the next few days, you can take appropriate steps to maintain the childhood innocence of the holiday season.
Too late.
Right?
The innocence is gone.
He says, as a parent myself, I'm truly aware of the sensitive nature of the announcement. Well, maybe first start off by not lying to your kids.
Well,
have fun. Talk, make sure that it's Santa Claus is coming off as a character. But why are you lying to your kids and And like, if the kids are saying, is Santa real? Yeah, Santa's real. Of course, sweetheart. No, that's the wrong answer.
Right. Yeah, the right answer is some hedge. Like,
yeah,
you know what? Maybe Santa's real and maybe not. I know that I had a lot of fun when I was a kid with Santa or something like that.
Like, I don't have kids, so
right. We're not.
What is my opinion worth on this? But
so I'm going to take the opposite tack. I say lie to your kids all the time. Make up other stuff and let them find out about it, because then they learn about how the world works. People are going to lie to you. Ouch. Your credulousness is going to hurt you in the long run.
Oh, wow.
But
you're using Christmas for a very dark lesson, Dan.
Right? Funny things, like make them believe that shrimp grow on bushes, just like their whole childhood. Just act like that's just a thing that everybody knows, and then when they're in junior high or something, and they're like, what kind of bushes do these grow on? Everyone around them will blow milk out their nose, and it'll be a funny little wake-up call.
Incredibly cruel. And no, it wouldn't play as a funny little wake-up call. They hate you.
No, by that time, I would have pulled so many of these pranks on my kids that they get it.
I'm so glad you guys are not having kids.
Well,
there's
motivation.
A deepening part of me. It's an understanding that's becoming more and more profound that you've made the right decision to not have kids.
Nope, now I'm going to do it. now I'm motivated. All right. I'm going to take us to Washington, D.C. Now, you and I have reported on the fact that there is a Museum of the Bible that just opened recently.
Yeah.
And
well, like a year or two ago.
This is the one that's done by the
Greens of the Hobby Lobby
thing, and they've been in some hot water because they've had a bunch of exhibits that they trafficked illegally out of places, and all sorts of things.
Right.
I'm interested in this. There's one exhibit that they're displaying prominently that I'm actually impressed that they're doing.
What is that?
They have an exhibit of the slave Bible. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it. I guess I don't know anything about it, though.
So what happened was, back in the days of American slavery, and also just European slavery in general.
Sure.
There were groups that were working to convert the slaves to Christianity. Some of them were abolitionist groups. Some of them weren't. And what they produced was a Bible, an expurgated Bible that cut out significant amounts of it, including all passages that might indicate that freedom, that mention freedom, or that mention any of these things. Like 90% of the Old Testament is cut out. 50% of the New Testament is cut out.
Holy cow.
Pages, including the stuff that was left in, was stuff like, servants be obedient to them that are your masters.
Oh my God.
But so that's that's from Paul's letter to the Ephesians, but they completely ignore his letter to the Galatians that reads, there is neither bond nor free, for you are all one in Jesus Christ.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to teach slaves that kind of message.
They cut out the entire Exodus from Exodus.
Oh my.
Because it's about slaves being freed.
So, oh wow.
It's a really interesting artifact, and it just goes to show, like, what they've done is highlighted the fact that it's easy to justify evil with their Bible.
Yeah.
And you have to ignore certain things, but with any position that you take on the Bible, you have to ignore something and highlight something else.
It's interesting that they took out, rather than just adding, this is dark, but punishment, for slaves that sought freedom.
There is punishment in the Bible for slaves.
So, like, at the end of the Exodus, they should have, the earth should have just opened up and swallowed them whole.
Well, I think they would have gotten in a little bit more hot water if they had added to the Bible.
I know,
but they should have done.
Yeah, it seems worse to just add a little than to leave whole sections of God's word out.
Yeah.
Right? It's one thing to put a little addendum of human ideas, right?
Yeah.
But they're leaving God's teachings that are important to everybody else out.
They do that.
What does that say about the Bible? I mean, this is what you were getting at. What does it say about the Bible?
Well, and that's the
Right?
thing, right? I mean, first of all, there is no version of the Bible that is complete because, they had to keep deciding what stays and what goes. I only just learned this week that the Catholics use a different Bible than the Protestants. Did you know that? I did not know that. They have like 7 books in their Bible, the Catholics do, that we didn't have.
Really?
I had no idea about that. I was shocked. The Orthodox Christians also use that. The deuterocanonical books.
So what are some of the names of these books that they have?
Tobit, the Book of Tobit.
Okay.
The Book of Wisdom, also known as Solomon's Wisdom, Wisdom of Solomon, the Wisdom of Solomon, I think.
Okay.
What was another one? I want to say there was one that had a woman's name, Judith. I think Judith. First and Second Maccabee.
Heard of the Maccabees.
So, like, these are...
I never heard of Judith.
I had no idea.
I'm going to have to go home and look at my Italian Bible.
Did you buy a Bible that wasn't a Mormon Bible while you were in Italy?
There is no Mormon Bible in Italian.
They didn't.
They don't have
really?
a Joseph Smith translation and all that kind of crap. And they don't have, because the Mormons in the United States just use the King James Version for all of our listeners. You already know that, of course. And so they're just, putting together, they've put together their own King James Version with their own annotations, right? They haven't taken the King James Version and then translated it into Italian.
No,
so
but I imagine they're using
have
a Protestant Bible in Italian.
That is hard to say. It's hard to say. I honestly don't know. I know that it was chosen because it was the most similar in sort of tone to the King James.
There you go.
So it had preserved some older language, and it also kind of a lot of the phrases sort of read sort of similarly.
Interesting. I imagine you're not going to find those other books. It blew my mind. And how have I gotten this far? I have done atheist themed podcasting for 7 years.
Right.
I've done. I had a blog before that. I took world religions classes at the university. How did I miss that? There's varying versions, not just translations. I knew that there were translations of varied wildly. I didn't know that there were modern usage books that had entirely different books. Anyway.
So, what do the Catholics in this country use? Not the King James.
No, the King James is a Protestant Bible.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know.
I mean, there are
origin, but
again, there are varying.
It's also
versions.
considered to be this great, English language version.
Yeah, and King James himself sort of meant it to be a sort of not. It was supposedly to appease everybody in his country.
Interesting.
At the time, but my God.
And then he left out some books. What a jerk. All right. Well, Dan.
Yes.
Here's a group of people who oh, God. This group of people went down to Monument Valley, right?
Which is a beautiful park in southern Utah.
Right.
Okay.
And northern Arizona.
Okay, right.
So it's right there, right on the... In fact, there's great arguments sometimes
over who
Arizonans and Utahns about
which
where is this Monument Valley?
Right.
What's important? What's probably more important is
that's where the Roadrunner lives.
Exactly. No, that it's actually Navajo. Right.
Neither Utah nor Arizona.
I mean, it is, but it's under the purview of the Navajo Nation.
Sure.
And under the control of their Parks and Recreation Department.
Okay.
And it's the Monument Valley Tribal Park.
Oh.
That's its name, right?
Great.
And a group just got kicked out of there for filming without a permit.
Okay.
And this is important. It's a place that people want to go to film.
Yeah.
Because it's gorgeous. Think John Ford Westerns.
Yeah.
Like all the great old Westerns, when you see those big spires of rock.
Of red rock.
Big
just
plateaus and
just,
whatnot.
Yeah, just sort of growing out of a flat desert.
Yeah. That's Monument Valley.
Right.
And this guy by the name of Derek Brose, he has this group called Global Witness, which I had to look up.
You don't. You know exactly what it is just from the name.
He describes himself as a Gnostic Luciferian.
Oh!
Was that what you thought it was going to
Nope,
be?
I was wrong.
However, it is a conspiracy theorist site. I looked it up. Lots of conspiracy theories, abundant with them. And this is not to be confused with another group called Global Witness, which is actually like a human rights watchdog group.
Oh, that's so interesting. I just assumed witness meant like witnessing for Jesus.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, they were there on site down in Monument Valley seeking no permission from the tribe to film a YouTube event. This is a quote from Brose. A YouTube event like any other in history.
Like any other?
Like any other.
Oh, just normal.
Just a normal.
Your workaday, average Joe YouTube event.
But I do like that the Navajo Times, which is where I got the story, decided to quote him in his misspeak.
Right.
Multiple channel hosts that represent more than 2 million subscribers will participate in a live event that will be broadcast live.
Okay.
From multiple locations in the ancient locations of tribal lands in and around Monument Valley, Arizona, he said.
Okay. Why were they doing this?
Because they are seeking ancient truths. Right. The Navajos have shut down the park until they leave the area. They're having nothing to do with this group.
Huh.
They've claimed that it is a cult group, and they want them, and they don't want any of them to be able to infiltrate onto the land. So it is closed.
Wow.
Period. They're not going to use it for this stupid thing, right? But Brose says, we are not here to worship any demons, right? He's claiming they're not a cult.
Sure.
We're not bringing any demons. We're only here to learn what secrets of the earth holds of our past and our ancient past. Obviously, the monuments here have an ancient history.
Well, yes.
And the ancient peoples here obviously have some of those things. They've written about these extensively throughout their prophecies. So that's all why we're here. Or that's what we're here for.
Well,
that's what he says.
Okay. I mean, how? Okay. I have questions. This is a live event.
Live event.
How are they getting how are they getting? There must be good
might have a satellite
LTE or something.
Who knows? It's not without their resources. He's a former Hollywood producer type.
Okay. Well, there's that. B, how do they expect okay, yes, there's millions of years of history there in the form of geologic history.
Yeah.
Which is evident by the fact that there are, how you say in English, rocks.
Yes.
So great. But how do you discover the mystery? Like, what are you going to do?
You look around, Dan.
You
ask the monuments for their wisdom.
Do you sing?
For their ancient knowledge and wisdom, Dan.
I feel like you have to sing. I feel like a drum circle is in order.
I'm sure there was some tambourines. Of course.
Shut up. Just shut. Don't
they were
close the whole place down, though.
As they were kicking everybody out, at least 50 individuals protested.
Ooh.
And one lady was walking in the middle of the road with a Bible and a baby and was yelling, "God forgives you."
Stupid. I just think, you know what? Here's the thing. I think they're being idiots and whatever, but I think the tribe's being stupid too. Just let them do their dumb thing. What harm comes from them asking the rocks what's going on?
Well, they didn't ask for permission, Dan.
Well, they should have asked for permission.
They didn't respect the tribe, and I think that at a certain point, these tribes are just sick and tired of these white these stupid white people.
We're all sick and tired of the stupid white people. I get it. But don't like close the entire park so that nobody gets to go there just because they want to do some weird cult thing.
Right.
Let them do their YouTube event like any other.
Right, but it's disrespectful, and they've suffered nothing. The native peoples of this continent have faced nothing but indignity after indignity.
Well, that's true,
including stupid white people who are, now they're seeking the wisdom of the ancients, right? And they're going to these like tribal lands. And it's just so fucking disrespectful.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Here's what they should do. Don't keep them out. Trap them in. Just keep them there.
Yeah. They don't want them there.
Don't let them leave.
They don't want them. They want them to go away.
No, they have to stay until they actually learn the wisdom.
I don't know about that.
No. I'm going to take us now to Pakistan, which is where... they have some really, really fancy blasphemy laws. I don't know if you know this. And by fancy, I mean utterly draconian. And this is... I love it when I get to do a story that's about actual Christian oppression. Because, as we know, Christians in the U.S. and Europe love to talk about how oppressed they are, but they're not at all. And that's ridiculous. But in Pakistan, they are.
Oh, sure.
It's real there.
Yeah.
And this is the story of Asia Bibi, who has spent 9 years in prison because she was accused, not convicted of, but accused of blasphemy, saying something against the prophet. Now, she was recently acquitted of these charges.
Okay.
That does not mean her ordeal is over, because once you're accused of blasphemy in that country, there's a target on you. So she is currently living with her husband in a government safe house.
Oh, my God.
But not allowed to leave. Now, normally what happens in this kind of situation is you've got to leave the country.
Yeah.
If you were accused but acquitted, it's not like you can just go back to your life and go about your business. It is now you have to leave the country if you want to be safe. They have 2 kids that don't live with them right now, that live with friends of the family, and they're getting threats, and they're getting attacked, and every now and then a shot is fired.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, this poor woman wants to leave the country, needs to leave the country.
Yeah.
And other countries have stepped up to the plate. Australian, Canadian, and Dutch diplomats are all reportedly negotiating to get her out.
Good.
But the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, decided not to let her leave.
What?
Which is crazy.
Just get her out of the country. You don't like her.
Acquitted. You don't want her there. All she can cause is violence.
Right.
And there's precedent for this. I mean, we know what happened to Malala. We know what happened to Salman Rushdie.
Right.
But both of those two were brought into the UK.
Right.
Theresa May is decidedly not inviting this woman to come to the UK.
Oh, my God.
Which is weird because the UK has to... So there's a connection to Pakistan.
Right.
Because they were a colonial...
Right.
Part of the empire. Mm-hmm. So they kind of owe it to Pakistanis who need to leave. You got to open your borders to that person. Yeah. This is a Christian who needs to be leaving, and Theresa May has said no. Because
why?
Presumably because she's brown. It's impossible.
Nothing's gotten that bad in the UK.
It's pretty bad.
I mean, I know it's bad.
I mean, the whole Brexit thing flows from an anti-immigrant hatred. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she's the leader of the hating brown people movement of the UK. That's who she is. She would never describe it that way. Of course not.
No, of course not.
It's very important. And she actually said, had some quote about, she said, "The absolute prime concern that we must have is the safety and security of Asia Bibi and her family. And we want to see a swift resolution to the situation. We just don't want to be part of the resolution."
Well, we'd like to see it.
It would be great. If that could happen,
someone else.
Would someone step up to the plate, please?
Because we're not going to.
No. We would never.
Oh my.
So yeah, it's nasty. Other people have been like, if you just get accused of, like I said, she's been in jail for something like 9 years.
Oh my God.
Just on the accusation.
Ugh.
That's
such a.
And you know that jail time as an accused blasphemer,
That's not good.
That's not going to go well for you.
Yeah.
You're not going to do well in prison, surrounded by Muslims who think that you said something bad about Allah or about the Prophet.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's life in Pakistan. Fun.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I hope your next story is equally depressing.
Well, it's about life in the United States right now.
That's pretty depressing.
In light of the Me Too movement, which continues on. And sometimes with these things, the targets can, there might be more targets than there really need to be at times.
Okay.
At times, sometimes there can be a little overreach, a little overreaction.
Sure.
Here might be an example of one. There's a perennial favorite that comes up that's been coming up for a number of years, a Christmas song that a lot of people don't like.
Right. Yes. I think I know where you're going.
But we haven't talked about it on the show.
I don't know that we have.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were about to say, we've talked about it.
Yeah, last week, remember? Oh, my God.
I'm like, I
Get
do
your
not
act
recall
together.
this. Baby, It's Cold Outside.
Yes, the rape anthem of the 1950s.
First of all, it's older than that.
Okay.
It comes out of sort of a 1930s film.
Oh, okay.
I believe is where it first debuted. I might be wrong about that detail, but it plays off of a lot of tropes that were common in 30s cinema.
Sure, absolutely.
30s American cinema. If you're not familiar with the song, it's the one we really can't sing it, right?
I think we can sing like
problems,
like some number of seconds before we get into trouble. But yeah,
well, it's a back and forth.
It's a conversation song,
right,
between two characters.
There's a woman,
yes,
and there's a man, and she's saying.
Or if you look at the text, I think they're named Mouse and Wolf.
Oh, really?
Which increases the alarm a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, but yes, a man and a woman.
In verse 1, she says, "I really can't stay," and he goes, "But baby, it's cold outside."
Right.
And she goes, "I've got to away," and he goes, "But baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been," and then he goes, "Been hoping that you'd drop in. So very nice," she says. "This evening has been so very nice."
Right.
And then he's like, "I'll hold your hands.
I'll hold your hands. They're just like ice."
But then here's where it gets complicated. This is not that there are lines in here that if you just say the line, such as "my what's in this drink" or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like. Where you're like, "Oh, wait, what do you mean? Did he spike it?" Oh, she goes, "Say, what's in this drink?"
Yeah.
Right? To which he says, "No cabs to be had out there."
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
He's on a different track, but yes.
It sounds like he might be a little rapey.
Yeah.
And she's a little scapey.
Yeah.
And
ooh, yeah. I see what you did there.
That was kind of good. But if you actually look at the whole thing, never once does she never says things like, "I need to go right now. You're making me feel uncomfortable."
No.
She talks about, "My mother will start to worry.
Yeah.
My father will be." She's giving all the excuses for the perception, right? She's worried about her perception as a good girl.
Yeah.
Right? And that people are going to talk. In fact, I think that's one of the lines.
Yeah.
And then she says, but maybe I'll have half a drink more.
Yeah,
right?
I mean...
And then she goes, well, maybe I'll smoke a cigarette. Right? She keeps making the little half, like he's providing all the excuses. Well, you can tell them it's cold outside. You can tell them that
there's no cabs.
There are no cabs.
Yeah.
You can what are some of the other lines that he goes, right?
I just never saw you as a rape apologist before. That's really interesting.
The context of the song isn't necessarily rape.
No,
right?
but look, it's not. And back in that time, it was all about, that playful game of she's got to appear like she's doesn't want it, but he's going to pursue and stuff.
Oh, she very, very, very much wants it, actually. She says,
she does say, I ought to say no, 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 sir.
Yeah.
And then he says, why don't you come in closer?
Right.
Here's the problem. The problem in a modern context is that we are trying to develop a society where if a woman hints at no or is trying to gracefully exit a situation,
right,
the man will gracefully allow her to leave.
Yes.
And that's what we need to have, and that's absolutely appropriate. Because if in this situation, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this is a woman who really wants to stay, and he's giving, and they're just playing a fun little cat and mouse game and stuff. Fine, but then what it's done is it's trained generations of men that if she says no, it's the cat and mouse game, and if you're not actually skilled at interpreting what this other person is really trying to get across, you could be in really negative territory. So it's
better to be safe,
right?
But this is a sweet little innocent song that maybe we should try to understand a little bit more,
or just fuck it. Who cares? We can lose a song. Like the problem is that we're in the age of Cosby. When you say what's in this drink,
right?
That's a scary question. Now
it's an unfortunate line that they put in there because this was a common this you would have heard a comic say the exact same line. Say, what's in this drink?
Right, because you do.
You hear,
but it was just about, is this alcoholic? That was the question. It wasn't, have you spiked it with a drug? It's, wait, I thought this was just regular old eggnog, and you seem to have put something in it.
It's actually a little bit more complicated than that. It's not, I'm asking you, what's in this drink? It was an excuse that people would give. There are noir films where the guy who's giving up the person in some confession or whatever, he's sitting there and he's like, say, what's in this drink, right? Like it was this line that people used to try to defer their own responsibility for the action that they're about to take.
Sure.
Right.
But it was also, but what I'm saying is it's not about a roofie. It's about, hey, is there alcohol in here?
No, right. But they know what's in it.
Right.
And all they're saying is they're just like,
sure.
Hey, well.
It's a problematic song. And I don't even think you've gotten to the story yet.
No. Well, the story is that a station in Cleveland pulled it.
Right.
And a few others probably have followed suit.
Yeah.
The stories that I was seeing were all putting it on this one
Which
station.
Which is funny because it's like, who cares? People raised a fuss about it.
Yeah.
How dare you pull that song? Well, we don't have to play any song.
Well, with Spotify these days, just go listen to the fucking song.
If you like the song,
you want to listen to that rapey song, go listen to it.
Right. Yeah. But like, if I were a radio station, would I want to wait? Like, first of all, if I'm a radio station, I'm not going to play any song that requires half an hour of discussion to determine whether or not it's okay. If that's a question, let's just not play that song. There's plenty of music out there.
But I think what's interesting, though, is that you could have a reading. There is a reading of this song that she's actually very much in control of herself and the situation, and that she is, and in fact, at the end of the song, when she's asking for a comb, what is she doing with that comb? She's fixing up her hair, right? They've had their fun. right? And then at the very end of the song, in unison, "Baby, it's cold outside." Like they're together in this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I think
they're young lovers. She's worried about what everybody's going to think about them having her just staying over, being there late, much less actually having sex. And if you read the text, those two had some fun.
How dare you? First, you're a rape apologist, and now you're besmirching the character of a perfectly lovely young woman.
What I'm saying is that it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah,
I get the whole point of being safe.
Yeah,
and the fact that we don't have the context at the ready. Right.
It's a different.
The song is
live in a different environment.
From 90 years ago at this point. And there were different conventions. You know. So some of these lines don't ring the same way to our ears they would have back then.
It's a lovely little song. Let's just change. I'm gonna write new lyrics for it. I'm not.
You should.
I'm not. All right, I'm gonna move on to the fashion world.
What?
Yes,
from film to fashion.
From music to fashion.
Well,
I mean, I guess it was a film.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if you've ever heard of the fashion brand Nunu, spelled with N's and U's.
No,
I haven't either. But Celine Dion has just partnered with Nunu to create Celine Nunu. I did not make that up. Which is she has created a child and baby, a line of child and baby clothes.
Oh, she loves children. She loves children.
I guess so.
When I think of Celine Dion, I think of the children.
The children.
You know,
I think of her slapping her chest to add emphasis to whatever song she's singing. But yes, Celine Nunu is a new line of clothing for the wealthy. It's
for wealthy children.
For wealthy children, it's their price point is quite high for
what
kids' clothing. I don't know. Can most parents afford? It's anything from like a $40 onesie for a child,
okay,
to a $200 leather coat for a
Seems reasonable. I mean, seriously, like how much could any of this stuff actually cost?
Well, I mean, like a baby onesie for $40 or something. That's more than your average person can afford. It's not
really.
It's not $300.
Like how much is a onesie? I have no idea.
Wow, you're out of touch, my friend.
It's just a banana. How much could it be? $10?
Right. Yeah, but yeah, up to like. You're not. Most parents are not buying a $300 leather jacket for their 6-year-old or whatever, but that's available.
Right.
Anyway, it's actually I don't mind most of the pieces in the line.
Huh.
But you know who does mind most of the pieces in the line?
Who?
What is the name of the publication? The Catholic something. Hang on.
What?
Wait
a sec.
It's the National Catholic Register.
Why? What did they have against tasteful children's clothes?
First of all, the tasteful thing is questionable.
Is it?
Well, to them. Because there's like skulls on them in some places and stuff. But that's not what they're upset about.
Oh, no, okay.
What they're upset about is there's no boys and girls section. It's all for everybody. It's unisex.
No.
And they are livid. They're furious.
Oh, no.
As a matter of fact, Celine's little YouTube commercial for the thing involves her going into a baby ward where there's the separated boys on the left, girls on the right, and they're in blue and they're in pink. And she blows black fairy dust over the thing. And then they're all in black and white. There's literally the color palette, I think, is 4 colors. It's like black, white, and then there's a little yellow thrown in.
Yeah.
And maybe some gray or something.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. So the Catholic National Register, the National Catholic Register is furious about this. They contacted, for comment, they contacted... I love they have these little, how some articles will be broken down into sections,
right?
So one of their sections is called The Confused Perspective.
Oh.
which talks about how many people are like super on board with this. Like, yes, we don't need to genderize our children's clothing.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
Everyone can wear a t-shirt with a skull on it, or a hoodie, or even leggings. Like they've got leggings that are for boys or girls. Great.
Leggings for boys?
Yes. Welcome
That
to the
is not
new
unisex.
world. It is unisex.
That is not unisex.
Grow up. Get with the times.
You have a pair of leggings, Dan? Do you go out in public in leggings?
Not yet.
You're going to go get
I
some?
might.
You should.
I've got great legs.
You should get some leggings and a really long shirt. And just
I might be
rock
too
it.
old, but the kids are all wearing everything.
No, you should do it. You don't have a problem with it. You should do it. Put your money where your mouth is.
My money is where my mouth is. I have my own sense of style. Anyway, these kids...
And it doesn't involve leggings.
It might. You've seen me in leggings.
I know, but
Don't act like you haven't
not
seen
just
me in leggings.
regular day.
Anywho,
I've never shown up to your house and Dan's in leggings. Everyone just
it sounds comfy.
yeah, it keeps everything tight and
I got, as I said, the one part of my body where I'm confident, still confident about, is everything from the waist down. I would totally rock leggings. Anywho, they've contacted Monsignor John Esseff, who apparently was once a spiritual director to Saint Teresa of Calcutta. Was she sainted?
now she is.
She must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fast tracked. Don't you remember
She
that?
was. That's right. Mother Teresa to you. Satan to anyone who's read.
That's what that ST stands for.
What's his name's book.
Yeah.
Anywho, yes. So Monsignor SF had this to say: I'm convinced that the way this gender thing has spread is demonic.
Oh no.
It's false. I don't know how many genders there's supposed to be now, but there are only 2 that God made.
As many as it takes, sir. As many as it takes.
As many as it takes to make you feel wildly uncomfortable.
Which that only took 3.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to say there's 17 just to really bake his noodle. The devil is going after children by confusing gender, he said.
Oh no.
When a child is born, what is the first thing we say about that child? It's a boy or it's a girl.
Right.
That is the most natural thing in the world to say. But to say there is no difference is satanic. Which, by the way, is anyone saying there's no difference?
No.
Nobody's saying that.
No.
They're clothing them in a way that might make no difference.
Right.
The onesie that your baby is wearing, the fact that it's not blue or pink, pretty sure that's not a big deal.
Right.
But he says there is.
Oh. What about all the gender neutral names? That's the next big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Only gender neutral names.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You have all your Chris's and Pats and
Sure. I mean, it's happening. When Andrea and I were considering having kids, all we could think of, the only names we liked, whether it was for a boy or a girl, was boy names.
Oh.
So, like, girls named Max. That's a cute name.
Yeah.
Girls named Charlie or something like that.
Better do it with an I.
No, you
Charlie
don't.
with an I.
No.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to name my child.
Better
Franklin.
be. Yeah, just hypothetical non-child.
This non-existent thing. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, yeah, I just think it's delightful that first that a ridiculous line of clothing has sent them into spirals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly doesn't take much to engender outrage.
Completely cook their bacon.
Especially on the issue of gender. It is just making people's heads explode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
And why?
Why?
If you ask them why.
Necessary?
Because God made it so and blah, 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 blah. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, nobody's trying to take your gender identity away.
No. It's just like marriage.
If you want to be a man,
Letting the gays get married doesn't do anything to yours.
be a man. Nobody's mad at you.
Yeah.
All they're asking for is just if they say they're a woman, just go along with it.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
It's fine.
It doesn't hurt. It's fine. Anyway, listen, if you'd want to dress your kid in gender neutral clothing or don't, You can write to us about it, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while on Facebook, you can find the TGIA Members Only Lounge by searching for it.
Yes.
And then requesting to join, and we'll let you in.
Yep.
Dan. Are you there, Dan?
I'm here.
Good.
Present.
Because I have something for you to listen to.
To hear.
Yes.
Sure.
As you know, we like to play clips from the hateful religious right.
Oh, we do that from time to time. If by time to time you mean every week.
It's what we do.
It's our thing.
In the middle of the show. All right. Well, we have a guy. What is this guy's name? I didn't catch his name, actually. He's a preacher. He's one of these online preacher dudes. And let's see. Adam Fannin, I guess might be his name. There was this news this week. George Bush Sr., former president of the United States, passed away, age 94.
Yes.
I think for a lot of us who maybe didn't really like either of the Bushes, they've both been looking a lot more attractive lately.
Yeah.
In light of our current president.
Yeah.
We've started to realize, wait, just because they were Republican, they were at least reasonable on a lot of things.
I mean, there were a lot of people talking about, and appropriately saying, let's not lionize George H.W. Bush.
Right.
On World AIDS Day.
Right.
Who was a man who allowed the AIDS epidemic to get much, much worse just because the people mostly experiencing it were gay men.
Right. Right. But at the same time, it is easy to look back and be a little charitable.
Well, yeah. I mean,
about like
HW was at least like he cared about the country.
Oh, yeah.
He cared about and he listened to people.
Yeah.
And he had, what do you call it?
There was a brain.
An IQ over 10. Which, compared to our current president, is the most qualified you could possibly be.
Right. Well, Adam Fannin has some things to say about George H.W. Bush. And here we go.
He's a religious guy.
Yeah.
George Herbert Walker Bush. Daddy War Bush. The news is in at the age of 94. He is dead and in hell. This man is not a Christian, George Bush Sr. or Jr. They are not Christians. They worship the lowercase g God of this world, the devil, Lucifer. They acknowledge Moloch. They participate in the wicked sacrifices that go on at Bohemian Grove. Thank God that George Bush Sr. is dead, and thank God that he is righteous. Thank God that God himself is righteous enough to cast him into hell forever. George H.W. Bush died at the age of 94, and he will spend eternity in hell for rejecting the God of the Bible, the Lord Jesus Christ, the Creator and the Savior.
Spooky.
In hell. He's in hell.
They acknowledge Moloch.
I didn't understand half the words in this thing.
Yeah, I had to do a little bit of research. I didn't know what the Bohemian Grove, is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
I did some research on that. It's a real thing. It's just a place where wealthy, powerful people go every year and have 2 weeks out in the woods
to convert or dance around with the devil.
Apparently to do sacrifices, according to this guy.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of secret stuff, but it's dumb. I'm sure, I'm sure some big deals get made out there.
Do they make some handshakes?
Oh,
secret?
I'll bet they do.
Secret handshakes.
One of the things that I read was that at one point, even though it's an all male, thing, they invited Queen Elizabeth at one point.
Did she show up?
She did.
No way.
Yeah.
What'd she do?
Probably sacrifices. I'm guessing human sacrifices.
Corgi sacrifice.
Well, we had another. We were considering playing another bit of audio that was a guy who was explaining how how he was happy because one of the reptilian people was finally dead.
Yeah. And he sits there, and he keeps going on and on and on and on. Do reptiles shapeshift? Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, I think the reptilian people.
Okay.
And the way you can tell, and he shows a little screen cap of when his eyes
were a little squinted,
blinked the wrong way or something.
And
that's one of the ways you can tell that they're reptilian.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. You should do some research into this David Icke stuff.
Oh.
David Icke was the guy who started this whole. He's a British guy. He started the whole reptilian thing. It's dumb. It's the dumbest thing you've ever heard in your life. People believe it 1,000%. There's a whole group of people. It's a new world order. It's something about the Illuminati and the reptilians.
Yeah.
And they're all. By the way, the royal family are all reptiles.
Now that you just did that symbol with your hand, there are people who are going to say that you're part of it, Dan. Isn't there like the thing where you have to like put like?
I don't know if you do it on your face, but I mean, Beyonce, I think has made this triangle. So those of you who are watching on our YouTube channel can now see.
You all now know Dan is part of a secret cult society. He is a lizard person.
Even just being able to do that makes you part of the thing. Normal people can't make that.
See, I'm trying.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it because
my hands just won't do it because I'm not a lizard.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
I'm trying to get into the Illuminati. They're processing my application now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So there you go. We had some folks write into us. Hey, Frank and Dan. I'm writing in response to the Orange City Library book burning. Ha!
Okay.
I'm originally from Iowa, and that area of the state is just chock full of conservative members of the Dutch Reformed Church. No wonder at all that some self-appointed guardian of the pure-minded decided to burn books.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm a librarian and pretty darn sensitive to having any person or group attempt to limit access to information. Here is a recent story. She sent us a link that has hit the library world. Some religious nuts claim that EBSCO host, which is an online access to books thing that libraries have.
Okay.
Which is a pretty respectable database, is offering access to gasp porn to school children. Mercy.
Oh my God.
My question is, what the heck were they using as search terms when they happened upon the dirty articles which for the most part are just sexy info for adults, hardly porn? I immediately did some searches, but the sexy material is mighty scarce, and I found nothing I would remotely consider porn. Any kid would give up way before they found anything titillating. These people are just stirring up trouble to make a name for themselves and promote the organizations that are their livelihood, which is probably true.
Yeah,
that's how they do it. I guess I've been rather jokey here, but the stuff really gives me a deep down shiver of fear. Conservative Christians want to limit information, deny science and evidence, and deny freedoms. They are fairly stupid, and it's dangerous to have stupid people in power. Of course, I read a lot of dystopian fiction. Love you guys.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, anytime someone's like, nope, we need to limit people's access to information.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yep,
Not a good thing.
That's an issue. I'll read another one. This one is unsigned. Also, I'm an out atheist married to a devout Mormon. Oh, you poor bastard.
Okay.
I still take her to the church every week and usually use the time to read and sometimes listen to your show. Last testimony meeting, I heard something that disturbed me from the person speaking. They talked about the new prophet energetically traveling the globe, talking to congregations, and how they had heard from a friend that he said, if you think the gospel has been fully restored, you are wrong. Just wait until next year. I shudder to think what he has in mind. Now, rumors circulate about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, I hope he's revealing something.
Oh, I hope so, too.
Oh.
Rusty the Revelator. He's...
If 2019 is the year that the Mormons have some new shit coming up, I am excited. Now,
Does he release a book?
Now, I have actually heard a rumor from a source that is quasi-reliable that they're going to be changing their position on coffee and tea.
I've seen that circulating.
I think that's actually going to be happening.
Yeah.
And you want to know why? Because they're not making any money from their new recruits. You know, they're getting a lot of good new people in South America and Africa.
Yeah.
They can't make any money off of that. So where do they need to go? China. And how do you get into China if you're saying you can't drink tea? So I think that they've made a literal financial calculation that says maybe tea's okay.
What?
Isn't that fascinating?
Well, and then there's the whole problem that half their membership drinks coffee on the sly.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah. So I think that's going to be happening.
Huh.
Whether there's more, whether there's like, what if there was new scripture? It would just be so exciting. I would love it if there were new
scripture. Oh. Well, maybe he's releasing a new Doctrine and Covenants section and that's how he's clarifying the word of wisdom.
Because the word of wisdom, which is the Mormon sort of eating and drinking code, is in the Doctrine and Covenants. This is a scripture, a bit of scripture for them. So they have to sort of make adjustments to that. Chapter 89, I think.
Would they ever go as far as basically the rest of the Mormon movement and just be like, just keep the alcohol, wine and beer, and
what? You know, look, if like any real reading,
maybe stay away from the liquor, but just don't get drunk.
Any reading of the original text in the Doctrine and Covenants, it says no hard drink.
Right.
If you know anything about alcohol, you know that beer and wine are not considered hard drink.
Right.
Liquors, spirits are a hard drink.
Right. So why not clarify that too? They won't. That one's too good. That one's too. But see, if they want to get into China, right? China doesn't like. One of the things that they're using is like a test with the Muslim groups that they're like locking up right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want to have to get into the whole thing, but if you guys haven't been following the whole thing,
like the Uyghurs,
exactly, over in what is it, like Western China, there's a large Muslim population that hasn't always been the most like gung-ho Chinese,
right?
I guess would be
pro-China.
Yeah. Because and strictly, really, truly, because they're just holding on to their religion,
right? And the Chinese government,
Beijing doesn't like that, and so blah blah blah. Anyway, they're one of the tests that they're looking at specifically is whether people are willing to drink alcohol.
Interesting.
Muslims don't. Right?
Interesting.
And so, if your theory is right, Dan, they're going to go a step further.
They are. Because
they'll want to be 100% palatable to the Chinese.
Yeah.
But will China let them in?
Not to the Chinese people, to the Chinese government.
Right.
Then they have access to the people.
Is that something that they're doing?
It sounds like the negotiations are happening. From the buzz that I'm hearing from sources that have sources. We'll see. Wow. We'll see.
They'd have to give up on that one too.
They'd have to. So beer might be coming into play. Beer might be on the table for the Mormons.
Beer and wine.
Which is funny because there's the old joke, which is, why do you take two Mormons fishing? Because if you only take one, he'll drink all your beer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't self-police as well as they police each other. We have a voicemail, don't we? Oh, my God. Did you die?
I did die, but here's the voicemail.
Okay.
Hi, Frank and Dan. It's John again. I called the other day, and y'all answered my question very well about using religious language despite being an atheist. I actually have another question. I am wondering, we use the word reason a lot in the atheist community. We talk about, rationality and all these sorts of things. And we very specifically use those words. And, we've got the reason rally, all that sort of stuff. but also so do libertarians. I think it's like Reason Magazine or something. And so I wonder if, there's a problem or a way to, properly use words like that to our own advantage, much in the way a lot of conservatives have kind of co-opted the word liberty and family in all of their, organizations, rallies, whatnot. I just wonder if, using the words reason and rationality necessarily are the proper approach, and if, we can make sure that we maintain, if we're supposed to, maintain control of those words, if that makes sense. Not really sure what to say about that. I was hoping y'all might have some insight. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, I was actually in Salt Lake City this morning. Yeah, and I also got my keys locked out of my car in Park City, but that's all been sorted out in the past, couple minutes or so. That's kind of partially my inspiration for calling y'all again. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show. See you guys later.
Well, thanks for the question, John.
Yeah.
That's, yes, interesting.
Use of words.
Language is tricky.
Yeah.
And
nobody owns it.
Nobody owns it. Although people can own stuff, it can become theirs.
You can claim a word and you can use it and use it and use it until your very specific meaning and your connection to it sort of become the meaning. And
movements.
He has a great example of sort of how the right has co-opted family.
Right.
Not, I don't feel like completely 100%, but in sort of political speak.
Sure.
When people talk about family and blah blah, you understand where they're coming from.
Or on the other side of that, sort of the gay rights movement has done a great job of reclaiming words like queer.
Yeah. Queer being the best example.
And modifying it from being a sort of a hateful thing to being a word that they own and use in their own way.
Right.
And then the society at large has sort of acquiesced to the gay movement's use of the word queer.
Right.
Which is great.
Right.
So language gets tricky, and yes, we have to monitor what's happening with a word or with words. Mm-hmm. But I don't think libertarians own reason.
Right.
And I think that two different groups can use the term reason and it can be okay. I think right now our group, sort of the skeptical / atheist / secular community uses it well.
Yeah.
And we know what we mean by it.
And we might actually win that one.
Yeah,
we're winning.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think it's time to cede these words to the libertarians just yet. Frankly, because nobody's listening to the libertarians. Nobody gives a shit what they're talking about.
Right.
And there are plenty of libertarian atheists and skeptics.
There's and I wouldn't want to completely besmirch libertarianism.
No,
they've got a couple good ideas.
It does.
And we can sometimes the left and that side of the right can sometimes see eye to eye.
Right.
I know back in the day, I mean, like gay marriage, we had plenty of allies who were libertarian.
Sure.
Who were just like, yeah, I have no problem with gay marriage. But their stance was, I don't even understand why government's involved in marriage at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and then you go, oh, that's where it gets a little crazy. But we'll take your vote.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll take your support.
And the Reason rally, that was ours.
Yeah.
That wasn't theirs. So I feel like we've got the upper hand on it.
Oh, we're doing great.
Yeah.
We're doing great.
We're fine.
And it's a growing group of people.
Ours is. There's less.
Numbers are just
I hope so.
increasing.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know what the numbers look like for libertarians. I would be happy to have a multi-party system, a more parliamentary type multi-party system that included the libertarians and the Greens and all the things. But
that's not our system.
We don't have that. One more email, and then we'll move along. Hey, Frank and Dan, I was listening to the latest episode and wanted to chime in on the discussion about the ethics of missionary work a little bit. This is falling hard on the heels of our discussion of that ding dong that went onto that island.
John Allen Chow,
and got himself killed.
Yep.
You talked about how missionary work can be acceptable if you go with the intention of genuinely doing good. But I think even this is more complex than it may seem at first glance. The thing is that these missionaries are not professionals and often don't know the first thing about the country they're going to.
Oh,
This is, of course, not a problem to them at all because they are, quote, called, not qualified, and God will help them. But a missionary trip costs a lot of money, so these months before leaving, they will collect money to fund their trip. Money that, if just given to local organizations, could be used to let the local professionals build many more wells or schools or whatever than what foreign missionaries could ever accomplish.
Probably very true.
100%. In addition to this, letting the locals do the work means that you're stimulating the economy. However, we white people still like to see ourselves as some kind of saviors, and as you said, would do anything for Instagram likes. So we go abroad ourselves, get our mandatory pictures with brown people, visit a couple of orphanages, leaving the children there with huge commitment issues because new people come and go all the time.
Oh, God.
And perpetuate stereotypes, all without a single thought about whether this is actually the best thing to help the people you want to help.
Huh.
Anyway, the whole white savior thing is a problem.
Quetzalcoatl?
Quetzalcoatl.
The white savior. I'm sorry.
Okay. You've gone Mayan on me or something. I don't know what.
That's the Mormons claimed that anyway.
Okay.
Moving on. Jesus is the white savior. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Which, even that claim is wildly odd.
Yeah.
He was not white.
How dare you, Dan?
Oh, well.
How dare you?
Sorry. I apologize.
Everybody knows.
Yeah. Everybody does know. Hey, I wanted to, by the way, that was Simone.
Thanks, Simone.
Writing into us. Hey, I wanted to talk about our charity drive.
Indeed.
We are officially in the thick of it. We are in December now, which means that all of the contributions that we receive
for the month of December,
20% of them will go to the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
That is correct. And that goes for both established patrons of the show.
Correct.
As well as new patrons of the show.
So there's never been, if you've ever considered giving to the show, there's never been a better time because all of our donations we divvy up and kick over to the FFRF. You can't pick a better time to give to them because here in these United States, the separation of church and state's getting a little wobbly.
We might need some freedom from that religion. So
and they do great work. We're going to have somebody from the FFRF on the show in the coming weeks to talk a bit about their work. But it is now it's happening now. Do we have some people to thank?
We do. We have 4 new patrons this week. We have 1 new venerable listener, Zechariah.
Great.
Thank you. We have a new beatified listener, Lenny.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We have a new saint.
What?
Saint Susan.
Saint Susan.
We verified her miracles.
Blessed be her name.
She did 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's how you get that.
She's canonized. We shot her out of a cannon.
And then we have a new pope.
What?
We have an actual new pope.
White smoke's going up the chimney, baby.
It's something else, let me tell you. Pope Hannah.
Pope Hannah.
You're going to have to pick a new name, Hannah. I don't think that's one of the...
No. It's a good one.
Pope.
It's palindromic.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Who doesn't love a good palindrome for a name?
Papa Hannah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Hannah the First.
Blessed be she. Listen, you guys, all of these people have given, and generously so. And like we said, 20% of all of that money for this month will be going to the FFRF. We certainly appreciate all of our donors, and we just wanted to give back some. So if you want to join the ranks of the holy, please go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the Patreon button.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take you there, or just go to Patreon and search us if you want to.
Yep.
and sign up at whatever level you can. Give till it hurts. It's for a good cause. It's for two good causes.
Very two.
And we have one more person to thank.
As we always do, our top donor, our Lord and Savior, she reigns supreme, Jenny!
Part the waters, baby. She's a
coming.
She's a coming.
Dan.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, Dan.
Hey, Broadway is coming to Salt Lake City.
Well, you know, every once in a while, it does.
Yeah.
And this time,
it's a star.
And it's coming to to Temple Square, Dan.
Yeah. So,
Mormon Temple Square.
Kristen Chenoweth.
Every time that?
She was in Wicked. She was one of the original cast members of Wicked. She's a big time. I think she's also she's voiced characters for Disney and all sorts of things.
Really? Big deal.
She's a big deal.
Big time Broadway type.
Yeah.
Actor.
Great
singer.
Beautiful
dancer.
Voice.
Is she a triple threat?
I can't imagine that she's not. I've never seen her perform live myself.
Well, anyway, she is coming to Salt Lake City.
She is.
Because there's the annual Mormon Christmas with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir PBS special, right? And they have the orchestra at Temple Square, right?
Yeah.
And they have the choir at Temple Square.
Mm-hmm.
The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square.
The Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Look, I'm not going to stop calling it that just because they want me to. It's what I've known it as my whole life, and they're probably going to go back to it as soon as this prophet's dead, or maybe 2 prophets from now.
How dare you?
But yes, the choir at Temple Square, the Mormon choir, the tabernacle. It's the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square,
yes.
Which is funny because they do a lot of traveling. So will they be the Tabernacle Choir at Boston Gardens or what?
No, they'll be the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square at Boston Gardens.
Yeah,
That's
exactly
what it will be.
Yeah.
But no, so she's coming, she's singing. They always have a big guest. It's always a big deal. But the problem with her is that she has been quite the ally to the LGBTQ community.
That's the problem with her? You don't like that she's an ally?
Well, I'm surprised they picked her.
Well, what the surprise is that she said yes. Because as an ally, as an outspoken LGBTQ ally, she is now, and people are calling her out for this, she is now consorting with what could be known as a hate group.
Yeah.
Which is the Mormons.
Mm-hmm.
The Church of Jesus Christ of we don't like gays. So it's a problem. It's a bit of a problem, and she is being called out. The Salt Lake Tribune ran a op-ed written by Fred Karger, who we've had on the show.
Yeah. It's kind of a grumpy sort.
He is, and practicer of the political dark arts his whole life. Yeah. But he has been campaigning against the Mormon Church's stance on LGBTQ issues for a long time, for a while now, and he is calling for Chenoweth to pull out, to drop out, to what's his he's started a hashtag. Bow out.
Bow out.
Bow out, Kristen. Is the hashtag he's trying to make go viral.
Is it trending?
I don't know.
Is it gaining traction?
Is that now that's one of those Twitters, is that right? How does that work?
Yeah, so but no, she's actually reaffirmed that she is coming, right?
She is. She's doubling down. She has decided she is going to do it. And that it's a tricky balance for her, right? Mm-hmm. Because what does an ally do? Well, if she gains exposure in the Mormon community, and Mormons just love these Broadway singers. They just love them.
And anybody who will show up and give them the time of day
makes them feel just the best thing in the world.
The good feelings that Mormons have toward Jimmy Stewart
for
doing one Christmas special.
Yeah.
And that was actually like a filmed like half-hour narrative.
Yeah.
Mr. Kruger's Christmas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, something like that. The sequel, Mr. Kruger Goes to Washington, didn't do as well as they expected, but
yeah, that's really just about Mitt Romney.
yeah,
It's
exactly. But yeah, they love it when a famous person acknowledges that
their existence,
that they live. So So there's the possibility that they love her, they fall in love with her, and then they do a little research and they see her activism, and because they have such warm feelings, her activism resonates more with them.
Yeah.
Possible?
Maybe.
An argument could be made. Who knows?
I know.
But then there's the other.
Another,
Yeah, we'll go ahead and present the other side then.
Well, it's just the fact that she's giving them cover.
Right. Suddenly, it makes them look better. It makes the LDS Church look better by comparison, or rather by association.
Yeah.
Oh, if she's consorting with them, maybe they're more okay with the gays than we knew about.
Yeah.
So, double-edged sword.
I know.
She's in a world of tricky position right now.
Oh God.
But you know, in the end, Mama needs a boat.
Well, you know, at this point, you know, we were just talking about how they love any celebrity who would kind of come and show up for a day.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked, I tell you, that this has not become the Gladys Knight Christmas special with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Yeah.
Because
she's an actual Mormon.
She actually joined up.
These
people are dangerous.
What a ding dong. Yeah, she did.
Run. People should be saying, you know, hashtag don't convert.
Right.
You know,
none of the pips joined up when Gladys joined up. They've got 0 pips.
They didn't get the pips. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky, and it's hard to know as a celebrity. You know, you and I as celebrities.
Well, we turn down invitations all the time. That's why you guys don't see us anywhere.
It's just a constant.
We're very careful about who we associate with.
Yeah, we're definitely invited all over the world.
You know,
and we have to be very careful.
We had to turn down that appearance at the White House.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh God!
Yep. We were waiting.
So wanted to go and podcast at the White House.
Yeah, we were waiting for Obama to call us, but
he didn't. But when Trump did, how do you actually go and do it?
You can't. You just can't.
You have to say no.
And he would probably even deny having invited us now.
Well, yeah, of course.
He hates being turned down so much. He would probably just deny it.
It was a true indignity.
But yeah, when he called us personally, that was it was a quandary for us.
Oh, I know.
Vladimir Putin called us, wanted us over there, but we just had to say no.
We're just like, no. Sorry.
You know, when you get better with the Chechens and you stop hacking everybody.
I feel like we made a little headway with that.
I feel like we did.
I think we did some good. We spoke some truth to him.
Yeah, we do speak truth to power. God, we're idiots. All right. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Should Frank's personal opinion?
Aha.
Should
where am I at?
Kristen Chenoweth? Boy, I can't say her name. Should she bow out?
I'm going to say, in this day and age, she should come and perform.
Interesting.
I think it's really important, and more so than ever, for a lot of these. It's about building bridges.
Okay.
This is not about division. This should be about, you know what? It's Christmas, everybody.
We're just singing and having some love.
Yeah. You know, like the topic, this thing isn't about the thing that I care about. They're not going to be promoting their hatred of LGBT people with this. That's not what this is about.
Sure.
Right?
And you'd rather build a bridge.
I think at this point we need it, don't we?
I love that attitude. I mean, it's tricky, but frankly, I do. I love the idea of, look, now's the time to build a bridge. And, you're not going to convert people to your way of thinking by dividing.
Mm-mm.
You're never going to do it.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes you need to separate yourself from people.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's necessary and important. But it's never going to convince somebody else to take your position. If you want to convince somebody else that your position is true, hear them.
Yeah.
Listen to them also.
Yeah.
Hear each other, create a bridge, and that's going to get you a lot farther. That's going to get everybody, division is, fear, hatred, all those things. That's actually that's the right's tool book. That's what the bad guys are doing.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's call that the official TGIA position.
I nailed it.
We did it. All right. Well, kids, if you are now fiercely opposed to what we've just decided.
That people do not like that at all.
And
think I get it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just so important that we remember that the division is what is what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
That it's the tool of the right. It's actually the tool of the extremes.
Yes.
Period.
All of the extremes.
And also, to be honest, it's also was the tool that foreign powers, a specific foreign power, i.e. Russia, used to in their attempt to undermine our democracy.
Well, great. Now we're never getting invited back there. Now that you called them out by name.
And this is there's a wonderful front line. If you haven't watched it, it's a 2-parter. It's about Facebook and Russia and all this stuff. And I think we need to start getting over ourselves just a little bit. And we need to stop putting all of this this impulse to run to our side and to be exclusive on our side.
Right.
And it just further divides us.
Call out culture. All of this stuff is just separationist.
Yeah.
Keep away from me.
Yeah.
Until you're perfect.
Yeah.
You can't be in my presence.
It will break our democracy if we keep down this road.
Yeah.
So
melting pot, people. Even
places that are not melting pots have to be able to have people on opposite sides of the political spectrum being able to talk to each other.
Being able to be.
And when you lose that, that's when your society truly fragments and it breaks and your systems start to break. And woe be it to this country if our institutions start to fail.
It's happening. We need to be patching. We need to be mending.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Now that a bunch of you are furious with us, please feel free to write in. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in, and it's moderated, and it's awesome, and that's super cool. Over on Reddit, check us out. The subreddit is called TGI Atheist.
Yep.
Search for us over there.
Hey, also, don't forget that this is charity season, and we are giving 20% of everything that we take in to the FFRF. If you want to be a part of helping with that, you can go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the Patreon button and become a patron of this show. You'll be a better person for it.
And we should extend a nice thanks to Gordon Johnston and the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music.
Yep. Thanks also to our fine team of online helpers, Mackenzie for doing our Facebook page, and Danny and Amy who are moderating the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks, I guess, to all of y'all for sticking through another show.
Oh my God, it was torture for everybody, but we all made it. Thanks everybody.
Bye-bye.